Hey everybody, welcome to the studio. Um,
You want me to turn down the TV?
quick little tip for you. Never mind the movie in the background. It's turtles. My kid loves the turtles. um, quick little. At least you can see, right? My face. Got a light box behind me or in front of me. It's actually pretty cool. But anyway, the whole point in this video, quick little tip for you. Uh, well, any artists that are just starting out or anything like that, if you don't already know, or if you haven't figured it out, uh, your tubes of paint. Do yourself a favor. Keep the threads clean. See how that's gummy? There's the blob right there, and it just fell off. And then there's paint in the threads and stuff like that. I have a really bad habit of not keeping the threads of my tubes of paint clean. And the problem that arises is that you get the threads on the inside of the lid dirty also, and then the threads of the tube dirty with the paint. So you go and you put your lid on there. One, it just squeezes out more paint, wasteful. Two, it creates a much more of a mess because then your tube will eventually get all messy. Yeah. Um, but I mean, it just can lead to all kinds of poor habits, and I'll be the first to admit that I've got a lot of poor habits, uh, but the biggest problem that you'll run into, aside from creating more mess on your paint tubes and your brushes and your canvas, is that the lid will kind of like, well, one, if the paint cures, it'll weld itself to your tube, and then you have difficulty getting the lid off. Probably have to reach for a pair of pliers to try to pry and twist it off and stuff like that. You can damage your tube and therefore waste a lot more paint because you damaged your tube. Now what do you put it in? Just yeah, do yourself a favor and keep them clean. Now when you get the buildup inside of the lid like that, you can use a paper towel and you can go in there and you know ream it out as best you can with a paper towel. And I mean, obviously it'll get some of it, but it doesn't get it all. One of the things I found that works best for me is I have this palette knife that was a nice small pointy tip on it. Had a nice small pointy tip on it. Had, forgive me while I try to pick this little dude up. Had this little, tip on it. It was an awesome palette knife, but unfortunately that broke off. But the remainder of it here is a nice little point, and that angle just happens to be great for getting inside of the threads of your cap and removing all that gunk that can, all the cured and hardened paint that can build up in the threads of your cap, which, it'll help you get more of that out of there, get it nice and cleaned up, and help to prevent the cap from welding itself onto the tube. Also, it helps keep you cleaner, it helps you develop better habits. And then the same, you can take your paper towel and just ream around the edges of your tube, and really that's only going to get the surface of the threads. But you can take that same little broken scraper or whatever other sharp object or implement you may have, and just go in there and clean the paint out of your threads. Nice, like you don't necessarily have to get them all, but it helps if you do. But yeah, that's it. Just, quick little problem I was having because I just spent about 10, 15 minutes or so cleaning a couple of my tubes of paint so I could better use them without getting paint all over me, getting paint all over my brushes where I don't want the paint other than in the bristles. And, if I've got paint on my hands somewhere, it's eventually going to wind up on my canvas where I don't want it. And that's annoying as hell to deal with. So yeah, just do yourself a favor. Keep your tubes of paint and the threads inside your lids and everything clean, and it can help you develop better habits. It can help you keep a more, tidy and organized studio space. And yeah, anyway, have a day. Oh, and if you like my kind of really rough, unedited content and long videos and stuff like that and sporadic scheduling and all of that, do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any notifications of my future videos. And yeah, have a day.